Hello! Welcome to Triggered Care. I'm Alex. This is the start of vlog number 9. I did do the start to this vlog a couple days ago with my telephone, but then listening back to it, there was a bunch of background noise. It just wasn't done very good, and I was super sad anyway about my computer stuff, which all that stuff I talk about in the update video, so I'm not really going to delve back into that. So what I've been up to this week is desperately clinging on to other coping mechanisms other than playing video games on my computer and making videos and all of that stuff on my computer. So I colored with crayons a lot. I have a toddler and he colored some with me too, but I colored with crayons more than he did even. I hung out with my kid, but I always do that anyway. And so as far as coping goes, I don't even know. I've been so stressed out. Like, I'm one of those people who, it's not that I hate change. It's just, I have a routine, and if something comes along and messes up that routine, I get irrationally upset and triggered, very much so. So my husband's been having to deal with my moods, my kid's been having to deal with my moods, like everybody's been having to deal with my crazy mood swings and crying all the time and all this stuff because my schedule changed and my routine changed. I've been sleeping in a lot more because without the motivation of playing games and making YouTube videos, it's a lot harder waking up in the morning. Like, I set my alarms, and then when my alarms go off, it's like, what am I gonna do? Sit there and cry about how I can't work on stuff that I want to work on right now. Like, yeah, I've been writing out videos and stuff, and I've been keeping busy, and I've been doing other coping mechanisms. I've been playing the Xbox more, but I don't know. I saw what my life was like without my newfound hobby and my old addiction to Overwatch, and that's rough. That's just rough. It's rough when, like, your two biggest major coping skills are, like, put on hiatus for a little while, especially if they depend on technology or internet, and then all of a sudden you're in a place without it, and you're like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna stare at a wall and cry for a while. But then, I feel like a big baby. I feel like I'm being so dramatic about it. I apologize to my husband. I don't even know how many times this week. Like, I'm sorry I'm crying all the time, and I'm sorry that I'm super moody. Like, I'm sorry that I'm cranky. Because I can tell that I'm crankier, and I'm just in a bad mood a lot of the time. But that makes sense, if you don't have your coping stuff. But I still get mad at myself. And so I've been kind of stuck in this kind of depressed monologue-y, well, not like feeling bad for myself, more like feeling bad at myself, like, you piece of shit, you're so stupid, why do you have to be this way, but then now that I'm actually saying it out loud, it makes sense that my coping, the things that I used to cope were unavailable to me for like a week. Obviously that's gonna put a damper on my mood and make me a little bit more cranky. It's not like I've done anything mean even. I've just been snappier. Just more snappy than normal. I'm not usually very snappy. Usually I try to be pleasant and knowledgeable about other people's feelings and emotions. So when it's harder for me to do that is when I get annoyed at myself. Like, you selfish bitch. What are you doing? What are you doing just thinking about yourself and your stupid shit? I don't know why I'm getting an accent talking to myself. Sometimes that happens when I don't have coping mechanisms, because when I was a kid, I would talk in silly accents all the time to myself in order to calm myself down and make myself laugh, you know? And so I would be several different ethnicities of vague accents. And, but it really helped me cope with stuff, and it really helped me be less lonely. It helped me pass time in a fun way. So I do not mean any offense by my accents in the slightest, and I am terribly sorry if it is offensive in some way. You know, it's just a bad old habit of mine that I use for comfort. I don't even know why. I think it's because I like watching like TV shows a lot and movies a lot, and so I would like emulating the accents that I heard in different shows and stuff. And it would like give me company. Well, and also kids do that. Like little toddlers do that all the time where they repeat what their parent says. And they'll parrot that. And I didn't really get a chance to do much of that. So then I ended up just parroting everything around me. Whatever I could. I parroted my grandma a lot. I would just repeat what she said. Sometimes that's just what my sense of humor does, is I just repeat whatever somebody says and I'll laugh. And I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. I've been, like, this is my happy moment. Obviously, I'm vlogging at 10. I never do that, because usually I'm like, oh, it's 10 o'clock, I gotta get some sleep. But now I'm vlogging at 10, because I'm like, oh my god, thank god my computer is back. And I just recorded my video for the update thing. I'm gonna finish some other videos, but I'm not doing Nero video right now because I'm trying to get Overwatch downloaded, but that is gonna take a day, 2 days maybe. So who knows when that's gonna get done, because that is a big download, and I have really crappy internet still. Even though I have a faster processor, I have very poor internet still. So what else? I don't know what else. I don't know what else. I'm just, well, now I'm feeling all anxious and energized because I have my computer in front of me and I'm like, oh my god, I got my video program back and I got my internet back. Well, not my internet, I could go on the internet on my phone, but I got all my resources back. I got all my gameplay back. And now I'm trying to get my games back, but they're taking forever to download. So then I figured, well, you can voice record while you download your stuff and then wait to use Nero video, which I'll probably have to make it tomorrow morning, but I'm more than okay with that. I'm gonna wake up so early tomorrow and just smile at my computer and be like, oh, I've missed you so much. It doesn't even know how much I've missed it. Like, every day I would wake up and it's like I would forget for a second that my computer was not working. And then once the reality came crashing down on me, like, you cannot get your normal coffee and go sit and vlog. It's like my brain is just like, I don't even want to deal with the day if I can't get my coffee and sit and vlog. And that's why I tried to do it the first day, but it was so horrendous. Oh my god, my phone microphone did not work very well at all. And then you can hear the clock in the background. It was like crazy loud. And I'm like, I can't put this out. You know? And so I colored. And I'm gonna probably put up my colorings in this vlog so you can see what I colored about while I was sadly missing my computer. And then I also played lots of Xbox Minecraft because that's like my son's favorite game, and it's a really fun game. I really like it too, but I don't play it much because I very much like Borderlands and Overwatch. So I got an opportunity to kind of get back into that, and I actually enjoy playing that again. Well, and I knew that I enjoy playing it. Like, I used to play it quite a bit, like 6 months ago, 8 months ago. And I like got my house set up. I started tunneling mines all over the map and exploring and stuff. And I got a lot of stuff like just gathered. I just gathered materials and mined. I could mine for like 6 hours straight, not even notice. Like that's the thing about Minecraft is it sucks you in, and then you lose track of time. So I've been doing that with Minecraft a bit. It's helped me cope with no computer, definitely. I don't even know what I would do if I had no video games. I don't even know. I don't even know how long it's. I don't think there's ever been a time in my life where I went without video games for that long. There was, there was a short bit between high school and no, not between. Like the first year of college, I don't think I played very much video games. And then I got back into it. But that's because I was in college. It's hard to be into video games when all your roommates are girls. You don't have a game system anymore. I left all my gaming stuff at home, which I shouldn't have done because, of course, I got rid of all of it. It's all another story. But yeah, I did take a break from gaming for a while. Right before my insanely large mental breakdown. I took a break from games, and then yeah, and then after my break, well, no, then I became a nanny, and then the lady I nannied for, she played games, and so I started playing with her again. I'm like, oh yeah, I like this stuff. And then yeah, and then after all the shit went down, was when I just went into video game land for a really long time, where I didn't really do anything else except for video games. But yeah, I still have an obsession with it, a bit. It helps calm my brain in its erratic ways sometimes. So, I'm just rambling about myself now. But as you can tell, I've been very frazzled. Well, I don't know if you can tell. You can't see my crazy eyes right now. But, yeah, I've missed making YouTube videos, and I've missed playing Overwatch. Very much so. So, I'll probably let you guys go, though. This is turning into a long ramble about nothing. So, I'll be back in like 8 hours, because of course I'm going to vlog right away in the morning and be like, oh my god, I'm vlogging in the morning. But hopefully you guys can like draw some joy from my excitement. Because I know that when I hear somebody talking about, you know, they're so happy now because they got whatever they wanted, or, you know, they got something unexpected and it made them super grateful and happy, and so they're just kind of spewing that positivity. Well, I've been really sad for like the last week, so this positivity is very much swinging the other way. So if you guys can suck on that energy somewhat, I'll be happy to spew it out at you. I don't want to just spew sadness at you. Like, I want to spew happiness at you too and be like, share the happiness emotions, because those are the most important to share, honestly. Like, those are so contagious too. Just, it's harder to find happiness. It's much easier to find sadness than it is to find happiness. So, okay, I'm doubly rambling now. I'll see you guys later. Hello, it is 11:37 a.m. and today is the best day that I woke up so far this week. Because I actually didn't sleep through all my alarms today. I slept through one of them because I was real tired because I stayed up really late. And then I woke up before my second went off. And I just woke up happy. Like, I can do my routine today. I can get up, make a cup of coffee, have a cigarette, and do my vlog. It's a good day. It's a real good day. Overwatch got downloaded during the night, so I got that. It is so relieving to have my coping mechanisms back in place. Yeah, that's just, it's really nice. It's really, So, I was also gonna tell you guys, actually, I might have mentioned her last night, a YouTuber that I've been watching called Rachel Oates. And I've been watching a lot of her videos the last week while, I could not do stuff, do videos of my own on the computer. I've been watching a lot of hers. Uh, and I'm not an atheist, but I appreciate her arguments. And because she goes through a lot of really hardcore Christian rhetoric and what they pump out towards people. And I grew up in a pretty conservative, somewhat cultish church, um, you know, where it was told, women should serve men and, don't have sex before marriage or else you're going to hell, that sort of thing. Don't associate with people who aren't Christians as well. Just really damaging rhetoric that they try to push on you. Not in all churches. I'm not going to say that this is all churches. Just certain churches have a more closed-minded view of the world. And one of my churches, I've been to a lot of churches. One of my churches was sort of like that. And we would go to conferences and we would read books about being Christian and all this stuff and how to be a good Christian woman. And I went to like girl church conferences specifically aimed towards adolescent girls where they would tell us why we shouldn't dress immodestly and, how you need to love sacrificially and all this stuff. And I think part of the reason why we went to a church like that is because my mother really liked using religion as a weapon and as a control tactic. She accused me of being possessed for many years because she didn't like the way that I acted. She was always accusing me of not being close to God and all of that. And it didn't take too long for me to unbrainwash myself because I was still a Christian my first year of college. Actually, I was still a Christian for a couple years after college because it had really been drilled into my head that that was the right religion, that was the right way to be. And very slowly, like, I was still a Christian after I got married, and I dragged my husband to church for about a year. He's atheist, but he is a good husband. He didn't really complain about it. He didn't convert, but he was very friendly at church, and it was a really nice church that we went to. It wasn't my old crazy church, but eventually I got to this point where, and part of that was a college class that I took on religion that kind of showed me that all the religions have really valuable lessons and have really interesting and intricate histories that kind of open that door to my brain that maybe, the Christian God isn't the only one God. And then I got married to my atheist husband, and after a while I kind of slowly shifted my view from Christian to agnostic. And I don't think I'm going to move my view from that, because I don't see how there could be proof of any religion being true, and with all the information out there, there's no way in hell I don't think I can open up my mind enough to, accept a different religion as my religion. Because, like I said, there's just too much out there. There's really intriguing things in the Islamic religion. There's really intriguing things in the Buddhist religion. Not so much, nothing against Hinduism, but I like Buddhism a little bit more than Hinduism just because of how rigid the caste system is in Hinduism. That doesn't seem very fair, that you're just born into whatever caste and then you have to live a good life in that caste in order to move up in life or whatever. And that just kind of breeds oppression and judgment in a way that I don't really appreciate, but they also have really intriguing things about their, like, my only point is all the religions have really intriguing points to them, and like things where like that makes sense. Like that is definitely possible. Like I can't even refute that. And so that class definitely helped me open up my brain a bit to that. But this, okay, back from the ramble, back to this Rachel Oates lady. So she was reviewing this book by this terrible couple who claimed to be Christian. And you might have heard about it. I think their last name is Pearls? And they wrote a book about, hitting your children and how big the switch can be when the baby's a year and a half old, and how big the switch can be once they get older, and all this stuff. And they just believe in beating children until they comply. And so she does like their book reviews and goes over, the major points and refutes them. And then she also talks about Girl Defined, some vloggers. I've been doing a lot of YouTube this week, so forgive me, but I've just been stuck in YouTube. Girl Defined are these vloggers who remind me so much of all the female speakers that I saw at my Christian conferences, where they're talking about being a good woman, and you need to be a good homemaker, you need to dress modestly, you need to find a man who loves God. Obviously all the things that I guess I dress pretty modestly, but I don't do that so I can shove it in people's faces and judge other people like, oh, I dress modestly, and I just scoff at those women who dressed immodestly. Like, there's definitely points in my life where I dressed more immodestly, but it wasn't because the devil was haunting me. It was because that's what I liked wearing. I liked how it looked. You can't. Anyway, so yeah, I've been watching her videos and her response videos to all this Christian stuff, and it's been bringing back some memories of church, go figure, and some memories about my mother. The other night I had a dream about my mother, probably because I've been watching all these videos. So, yeah, it's just a lot. It's just a whole bunch of YouTube fun, I guess. But I highly suggest checking out her videos, arguing with this crazy Christian rhetoric. Because not that I even still believed it, but I did realize, how much, even though I didn't believe it, how much that stuff affected me and affected my brain. Because I would start hearing the bullshit Christian rhetoric, and then, flashbacks come back. And some of the stuff I have been doing, like, subconsciously, like, you must always serve. Your love must be sacrificial. And that sort of rhetoric definitely got burned into my brain, where I'm like, love needs to be sacrificial. No matter what, you have to do what you can for your loved one. And that can lead to really unhealthy behavior, really unhealthy communication, because then you feel like you should repress all your yuckiness so it doesn't hurt your loved one. And that's actually really terrible for mental health. Like, all of their advice is horrible for mental health. And I guess I'm surprised I didn't draw that conclusion sooner. Like, I didn't necessarily. Well, and part of that is that, like, recovery was mostly about my mom for, like, the first couple years. And then my rapist after that. Like, just big key figures in people who assaulted me and all of that. And that makes sense that I would have to think about that for a long time. But now that I'm getting to this churchy stuff, it's like, wow, those adults weren't very good adults in my life. I don't know. That's some shady shit to say to some pre-adolescent teens and adolescent teenagers. Like, I remember going to church one day, and for youth group, because I loved youth group because of the people there. I loved the other kids at the youth group, so I would go to the youth group every Wednesday. And one time at youth group, They sat us all down and then they started talking about how sinful masturbation was. And even sex with yourself is sex before marriage. And all of this stuff. And there was this guy there. And I was just so frustrated because the week prior, this dude was getting intimate with me. Like, we were full on making out. There was subtle subtle play that could be labeled as sexual activity. I'm not going to go into gross details, but we made out and there was some playing around. And he stands up and he goes, I'm going to save my virginity for my wife, and I'm a good Christian boy who doesn't do anything like that. And, that just bothered me so much because it's like, okay, I'm not going to tell everybody here that I'm sexually active, but I'm also going to judge you if I know that you're sexually active, and then while the adults are talking, you're going to stand up like the goody-goody and be like, I would never do that. Like, that's such bullshit. And that really makes me uncomfortable. Like, you're going to just straight up lie and then be all proud of it. Like, and I feel like not all church people, but some churchy people, like my mother, are exactly like that. Like, they love to get on their platforms and preach about how holy people should be, and then they go home and then they do whatever the hell they want. And then, but that will never be known about, so they don't need to talk about that. And that sort of deal is gross. That's just gross. Like, it's fine for you to not say your indiscretions. If you're in a forum like that, where it's like, oh, there's people around, I don't really want to talk about my shame right now. That's understandable. But to go out of your way and lie about it and be like, I am holier than thou, that's shitty as fuck. Like, don't put your judgment out, especially when you don't even have the right to put your judgment out there. Don't put your judgment out there. So, I've been thinking a lot about churchy stuff. And this vlog is going on forever. I'm just so happy to have it back. Oh my god. And Overwatch is downloaded, so I can play that this morning. Oh, life is just so much better. Oh, and I'm getting a tattoo today. So that is also very exciting. I'm very excited for it. So, yeah, tattoo, computer working, it's just, gonna be a great weekend. I'm gonna be doing video stuff. I'm just so excited. And you can kind of tell because I'm talking so quickly. Well, actually, I don't even know if I'm talking that quickly. I have a cold. I always have a cold. But I have like a sinus thing going on. So I apologize for that. And I'm on cold medicine too. And that kind of made me feel a little loopy. So I'm also sorry about that. Yeah. So I will see y'all later. Howdy. It is 11:57 a.m. It is Saturday. I got my tattoo done on my leg last night, which was a little peculiar. Okay, so I have a number of tattoos at this point. Pretty much all over my body. I got one on my ankle, a couple on my arms, one on my back, and I got this one on my thigh. And what sets that differently than all my other tattoos is my go-to cutting spot was on my thighs. So it brought up a lot of weird feelings that really made me uncomfortable and kind of triggered. Like, afterwards, I was super shaky afterwards. And even while I was getting tattooed, I was kind of worried about shaking a bit. And that's just because of the pain. transformed into a weird good feeling that doesn't sit right with me. It caused some flashbacks to happen, especially afterwards, where it was sore and I was flashbacking to taking care of my cuts, when I was a kid, and nursing it myself. Nobody knew about it. Being worried about it by myself. One of my first cuts was one of my deepest. Well, it wasn't my first cut. It was a few years into it, but it was the first time that I had used, a knife or a blade or something like that versus just metal or pencils, whatever I could find to break through the skin. And I can remember seeing the deeper muscle tissue in this cut after I did it, and it occurred to me, you cut too deep and this isn't gonna heal right and it's gonna get infected. And that scared feeling, I mean, I was pretty suicidal, but I also had, when you start playing around with cutting yourself, and not playing around like a fun thing, I mean when it starts becoming an issue for you, you get into a really weird cycle of living. It very much sucks you into this really weird reality and world that you have to deal with. Like, let me see if I can try to explain this. Well, for those of you self-harmers and past self-harmers who are in recovery, which, by the way, good job getting into recovery, because it's very hard to step out of that world once you are fully in it. Like, for me personally, and I can't talk about every self-harmer because we're all different, So how it was for me isn't necessarily going to be how it is for everybody who cuts. But when I was a kid, and I can remember the time before I cut myself a bit, because I wanted to do it for years before I actually did it. Like, I would think about it, those images and fantasies would be running through my head of doing it. And then, you always yell at yourself for chickening out. Like, you're not strong enough to do it. You're not cool enough to do it. You don't have the strength to do it. And that sort of self-shame perpetuates it to becoming even more of a possibility, because eventually, when you are beating yourself up and indulging in these harmful fantasies, you will get to the point where you break and you do it. And that happened to me around the age of 12 when I started actually breaking through my skin and cutting. And it's such a weird cycle, because first you have to amp yourself up, and I'm not saying this as advice, just like recounting what I went through. First I would have to like amp myself up, like, oh, you can't do it, you big baby, like, I bet you can't do it, you're such a pansy, and this is why you're worthless, this is why nobody loves you, is because you're so fucking weak. And I would bombard myself with that sort of talk until I did do it. And then once I did it, it's like a weird rage energy is like flowing through you and expelling itself. And so I do it, and it was almost like immediate relief in a way. Because then you do it, you would start bleeding, and then adrenaline would take over, and your real survival brain kind of takes over, where, all right, we have to take care of this, and then, you wrap it, you nurse it, and then I would be extremely happy for the rest of the day. I would, like, go dancing out of my room, sing-songing and stuff, because it was such a weird, positive relief of just... I'm a bit of a masochist, which I hate about myself. That's not a very good thing to have. Like, it's like I'm at battle with myself. Like, no pain, especially intense pain like that, is not good to be addicted to. It's not, and it's not a good thing to find pleasure from. And so that would be it. And then later, though, like, usually with the first shower afterwards, or, you start noticing the pain of it after you come down from that adrenaline high. And that's a stressful part of it, where you would look at your cuts and be like, oh my god, I think that's too deep, but what am I going to do about it now? Or like, I hope this clots fast. You know, you don't want to be bleeding through your pants. And so that high was a short-lived high, and then it was just worry. And also just maneuvering around, nobody can see this part of my leg. Along with it just being sore. Like, you sit down and it's sore. You take a shower and it's sore. You lay down, and depending on how you lay down with your legs, it's going to be sore and it's going to hurt. And, like, just, I kind of got back into that mindset last night after getting tattooed on that specific part of me. But that's also why I got tattooed, is because I have some scars over there that I want to cover up. Because it's awkward. It's very awkward when people see my scars on my thighs, and it's like, yeah, I got into a knife fight with myself. Like, I don't know how to explain that. And thank God all of them are old scars. The last time I cut myself was in 2012. So it's been 6 years that I've been cut free. But still, the scars are there, and, you know, I got some ugly ones, and it's awkward. So I kind of want to cover them up with my choice of pain, which is tattoos. I freaking love tattoos. But yeah, so it was peculiar. Because I really like tattoos, but at the same time, it triggered such a deep, old, like, collection of memories for me that, I don't know, I just came away kind of feeling disturbed by it. Like, I went with my best friend, because she got a tattoo on her thigh, too. And, so she went first, and, you know, I was encouraging her, and she did super well. Like, the first tattoo she got, she was kind of a crybaby about it, like, just, ow, the entire time. But this next one, she took it like a champ. Like, I was honestly surprised, like, at how much she improved with her pain tolerance since the last time we got tattoos together. And so she went first, and I was like, oh, you got it, you're doing good. And then when I got up there to get it done, like, it's almost like I was too happy about it, and that was kind of awkward. And she's like, oh, yeah, you're a weirdo. I'm like, yeah, I am a weirdo. You know, I don't really mind tattoos. But then I got to this point, like, I was under the gun for, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it got to this point where, like, it was enjoyable. And that made me feel super awkward, because it was like I was tapping into an old coping mechanism that I've been clean from for 6 years. And so tapping into that, along with, it just felt like a really weird ritual that all of a sudden these other people are there to witness. And so I couldn't really talk that much, because I was kind of trying to, like, closet up my, oh my god, that feels good response. And because that weirds people out, and I know that weirds people out, and I feel extremely weird about it, cause then I don't want it to turn into, like, a history lesson for the tattoo artist and my friend of, like, oh, I really enjoy this, this feels really good. When, you know, normal people's reactions is like, yeah, tattoos aren't the worst pain in the world, but it definitely doesn't feel good. So, I don't know. And then when I came back home, it started to hurt a little bit. It was getting a little stingy, and that bothered me, because it reminded me of my cuts stinging. And so by the time that I got home, I was super triggered, and I was, like, rambling nonstop to my husband about this stuff. About, like, everything, pretty much everything that I couldn't ramble about with my friend and my tattoo artist. Which, by the way, I love my tattoo artist. He's one of the best he is the best tattoo artist that I've had. And, this is my second tattoo with him, but he's super laid back. Like, I couldn't ask for a better setting to get a tattoo in, but I still felt awkward because I can't describe it. It was like I was having an intimate moment with myself, and I was embarrassed that they were around, and then it also made me worry, especially afterwards, like, don't let that feeling get back into your brain, because you've worked so hard over the last 6 years to not indulge in self-harming behaviors. I mean, I still scratch myself involuntarily sometimes. I still have little symptoms of it, but I haven't cut myself with a blade or scratched with myself with any object in a super long time. And I'm not saying that I'm going to do that now, but it's just like tickling that part of my brain, which makes I'm a wee bit dramatic, and I kind of blow things out of proportion sometimes. So I'm trying to keep myself level-headed pretty much. So yeah, that's how my tattoo experience went. I know it's a wee bit peculiar. I think that's another reason why I like tattoos so much, is because it's almost like an acceptable form of self-harm that, and not that tattooed people see it that way. Some of them do, I'm sure. But most of them just see it as, oh, you get used to the feeling of getting tattooed, and then it's not that bad, and whatever. Where it's like, I feel like I have a childhood desire that gets drawn to that sort of pain. And then not only that, like, obviously some of the tattooing doesn't go as deep as my cuts do on my leg. And so also just comparatively, the pain really isn't that bad. I've never cried while getting tattooed. I've almost fallen asleep a number of times getting tattooed, because it does lull me into like this weird, comfortable world. And that, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And I guess I didn't think about it that much before, because usually when I got tattooed, it was like, somebody watching me get tattooed, but then I wouldn't watch them get tattooed. So I didn't really have that comparative experience of seeing somebody else get tattooed and then seeing me get tattooed in the same room, and how different the reactions were. Like, at one point, my friend told me, she's like, I'm jealous of you. Maybe one day I can be a professional like you getting a tattoo. And I, like, kind of laughed at her. I'm like, a professional at what? Like, just letting people carve into your skin? Like, I don't understand. This isn't something to strive for. It's really not. And also, all the flashbacks that it causes, all of the mental distress. Like, I was having full-on panic attacks last night afterwards because of my history of self-harm, and like, that's not a fun part. And so yeah, I don't know, I wanted to talk about that, perhaps with people who can relate, and even if you can't relate, you can try to imagine what that's like. So yeah, what else? I don't know what else. Pretty much my tattoo is the only thing on my mind lately, along with my friend. He moved away for a job, like, in the beginning of the summer, and he's been gone all summer, all fall, and he's finally coming back this week. And so I'm super excited to see him. Like, I want to throw him a party, and I've missed him so much. He's one of my closest friends. He's pretty much like family to me, especially since I don't talk to my family. Like, my son calls him uncle, whoever. So I'm really excited to see him. I've missed him so much. Like, he used to come over like once a month, a couple times a month, and like stay over at our house for a couple days. And we talk and we drink. And also, like, I like debating with him. He's a really good debater. We have a lot in common, but at the same time, we do have different views for certain things. And he's usually, depending on how much he drinks, he's usually really good about like debating in a healthy way, and he doesn't get upset if you have a different point of view of him. Like, it's just, he's a really good conversationalist, and also he's been there through a lot of shit for me. When I was homeless, he let me crash at his place. Like, he's done a lot to help me out. He's helped me move, I don't even know how many times. He's just one of those people who's a really good person, and I'm super blessed and grateful to know him, even to even have him in my life. So I am very excited to see him. So yeah, I'm gonna probably get going just to work on videos and stuff. All my vlogs lately have been running pretty long. I think I'm gonna start uploading them on a more regular basis, just so I don't have 2 hours of vlogs at the end of the week to share with everybody. Maybe I'll even do it on a daily basis. That might be easier, and then along with my other videos, I am recording other videos, it's not just vlogs. But yeah, so that's what's going on. Since I probably will end with this vlog, since it's so long, along with my last two vlogs, like always, all the links are down below for the Discord channels, the CPTSD one and my Triggered Care one, along with my email in case you want to send me your story or feedback, a comment, whatever. You're always welcome to comment down below. I check them pretty much daily. So yeah, and then also the Facebook link is down below as well if you want to follow me on there. And yeah, like always, have a good one.